Hey, my friend, I heard you're putting together a home studio. That's awesome. I heard you have a little bit of a cart going together, and you were reading up on some best budget audio interfaces, best studio monitors to start off, and maybe even best microphones for the home studio. With that being said, let me ask you a really serious question. Are you going to take the blue pill or the red pill? The choice is yours. This is going to be a sensitive subject for some of you guys, no doubt about it. But in my opinion, and this really needs to be said, probably the worst place to have a budget condenser microphone is going to be the home studio. Now, let me explain why. Now, a lot of people do gravitate towards this. It's a really appealing thing. You have a shiny microphone with a shock mount, and it's got this gold capsule in it. Ooh, looks kind of cool. Not only does it replicate what a studio microphone looks like, but it also kind of sounds like it. The first impression you're going to get with this is tons of top end. And what does that translate to the average layperson? An extremely detailed, great quality microphone. There's an old adage that says the heavier something weighs, the better quality it is. It's kind of a vague indicator to see what the quality of something is how heavy it is. The same goes for microphones. The more detailed, the more top end, the more sparkle that it has, the better it is, right? Well, actually, wrong. And that's kind of the problem with the home audio industry is everyone's kind of taking note of that. Studio monitors have ribbon tweeters that extend far beyond the capabilities of human hearing. Interfaces have buttons on them to make them sound brighter and more airy. And these microphones are trying to emulate top quality microphones. For the most part, I always find that they're trying to copy U87s or C12s. But the problem is those microphones are usually used in controlled environments, and these are not. Most people only have in their budget enough room for a Focusrite Scarlett and one of these. They don't have the budget to properly acoustically treat their space, something that's very important for a high-end microphone to be able to function, and important for a microphone trying to emulate that as well. Okay, you don't have money for acoustic treatment for this bad boy, right? Maybe you have just enough money for a reflection filter to put behind the microphone. I never understood these things because this is not the sensitive part of your microphone. This part is. Why put it behind? What does it translate into? Makes your microphone sound boxy. And acoustic treatment is a whole other can of worms. Totally different subject that I might do a video on. But I will say there is something to be said about incidental acoustic treatment. If you can't afford the acoustic panels, don't ever get the foam. The foam doesn't work. But let's say you're in a bedroom, you have a mattress, you have thick curtains, you have carpet, you have a bookshelf filled with books. That's doing a lot acoustically, believe it or not. But let me not get off topic. So that's another issue, right? The other problem is this doesn't sound like those microphones. Because a lot of the top end studio microphones, a lot of people would describe them as silky, textured. They're saturated or they're controlled. Not only in the environment, but in the microphone themselves. These are not, because these, frankly, don't use the same components. They are made out of very cheap components. And while some do stand out, most do not. And if you pair it up with interfaces that want to sound airy, untreated rooms, and a super bright, top-heavy microphone, it's not going to sound super great. And I said it once and I'll say it again. It is much harder to tame a super bright, super harsh sound source than it is to liven up a dull-sounding one. And moreover, there is a reason that the top studios in the world will use this microphone for a lot of things, but you will never see this microphone in top studios. Well, what does that mean? That means you're going to outgrow this someday. You're going to spend enough time in your craft and save enough money to get a much better microphone. However, you will never, ever outgrow this. In fact, this is probably the best-selling microphone of all time. A lot of people say that Shure's biggest mistake was only charging $100 for this. Well, now $109, but still. So this is an investment that you'll probably won't ever get rid of because you'll always find a use for it. In fact, I have dubbed this the "it'll probably work" microphone. What that means, if you have a sound source that you're unsure of, this will probably work. Vocals, snare, electric guitar, this will definitely work. Acoustic guitar, this will probably work. Toms, this will probably work. Drum overheads, this will probably work. Djembes, timbales, bagpipes, timpanis. I'm telling you, this will probably work. And with this one, this will work for now. But if I'm an engineer and you are sending me your recordings for me to mix and you are using this or another similar microphone, I'd rather you use this.